So I have my name tag. This looks alright. Unfortunately we don't have the IEM branding, but at least we have a scoreboard, which I think a lot of you guys will probably be more happy with. And I think I'm doing the right thing over here. EG's very own Jaedong is our red Zerg spawning on the left bottom side of Overgrowth. I'm just going to open chat as well on my side to make sure that everything looks solid. As he's going up against our Zerg player that was very successful in the foreign scene in 2012 and even in 2013. It may have even started in 2011 already, but I think it is safe to say that 2014 has not been the most successful year for this awesome blue Zerg on the right top side of the map that is now representing the Yowie Flash Wolves. It is Leenock. Isaac is asking me, do I believe in a thing called roach? In ZvZ, I definitely do believe in roaches. But if you ask me personally, I prefer gas openings over gasless openings. And I think some Zerg players are so extremely good in taking advantages of players that open gasless that I believe in roaches, but I believe in roaches after speedlings. Hatch first on either side. Keep close on the production tab, see who of these two Zergs is going to be the most greedy. Jaedong squeezes in at least one more worker and is now letting his mineral count go up. And Leenock actually doing the same thing, just a little bit later. But this, none of you guys is complaining, so I guess it looks alright. And gases are going down on either side, so we don't see any gasless shenanigans over here. This spawning pool is going down on both sides. Overlord trying to get into position. Now this can of course still go many ways. I think on a map like Overgrowth you don't really want to go too crazy on the Zerglings and Banelings, especially not if your opponent open up with gas as well. You kind of just want to make it through this phase in the game while making a minimum amount of required Zerglings and defensive Baneling nest, getting a couple of Zerglings out to scout, but above all just focus on your economy. Drones, and nothing but drones. That is what I'm expecting to see of both players. Gonna keep a close eye on the extractors as well, of course, to see if one player decides to keep mining. There's a good chance that they will keep two drones on the gas for a while, just so they can get the defensive Baneling nest up and stuff like that. Basically all the good things in life. The winner of this series will move on to the final series of Duo Tournament number 1, which I believe this was number 1, or could have been number 2 as well, but I think this was number 1. And the winner of this series will play against either Hawk or Bunny. That game or that series will be broadcasted on the main stream. I have to admit I'm a little bit sad that I can't watch it. I think that things will look very good for Bunny in that series because his TVP is pretty damn sexy and he even defeated Oz earlier today, so he should be in a good position. Work account Leenock is squeezing out a few more drones than Jaedong is so far, as Jaedong is getting his defensive Baneling nest in his main base, so it doesn't really mean anything, but you could say that he's sort of hiding it. Neither player has a crazy amount of Zerglings out just yet. As the first two very happy Zerglings from Jaedong will make their way across the map. We'll see the queens. I think that Jaedong would have loved to see if there was a Baneling nest there already. I would say a Jaedong nest. That's like a next level Baneling nest. One that has Jaedong written all over it. Jaedong is still making Zerglings, while Leenock is still producing just drones. So Leenock already up 5 workers, is going to be up like 13 workers behind this. So Jaedong is going to bring the aggression to Leenock. This is a pretty risky maneuver. I did not expect this. I said it in the start of the game. I did not really expect either player to go too crazy with the aggression. The Baneling nest is a little later. Jaedong is already morphing 4 Banelings offensively, so that means that as soon as these speedlings will make their way across the map, Jaedong is gonna try to make stuff happen, and he needs to make a lot of things happen, as Leenock right now is sitting on 33 drones against the 21 of Jaedong. So Jaedong needs to kill more than 12 workers to justify this opening. 2 Banelings are ready for Leenock. Spinecrawler is about to finish up as well. Oh, Jaedong miscontrolled his Banelings over there as he blew everything up on the Spinecrawler. That can't possibly be what he was hoping for. He's getting 2 more Banelings behind it. 1 Baneling does connect with a lot of Zerglings, but oh, Jaedong needed to do so much more damage with those 4 links than with those 4 Banes than he actually did. During all this, he did produce nothing but drones, so he sort of caught up in the working count, and these Banelings hatched on a very unfortunate moment for Jaedong. But man, the ball is definitely in Leenock's corner now. Leenock was outmining Jaedong for a solid minute and let's say 30 seconds when he was on 30 something workers against the 20 something of Jaedong. The layer is starting around the same time. Supply wise it's still very even. Take a look at the... actually Jaedong has overtaken Leenock. I still felt that this was a very good hold for Leenock, where he should be on a nice small advantage after Jaedong morphed so many Zerglings and Banelings way before Leenock ever did. He's gonna morph 4 Banelings defensively on the other side of the map as well. He's actually gonna have like 8 or 10 Banelings. That is why things look even, because Leenock made a big investment in Banelings, and 1-2 Banelings will connect with a couple of the drones from Jaedong. Oh my god, one more Baneling. That's a very good connection on a lot of these drones. So many drones are low on HP, and this will put Leenock exactly in the position that he deserved to be in, after Jaedong was of course the Zerg play that made the Zerglings and Banelings first. So his own economy was hurting a little bit, and now Leenock is sitting on a comfortable 12 drone lead, 42 against 30, as the Spire is going down in the main base for Leenock. That's cool. It seems like Jaedong is aiming for Spire play as well, but Mutas against Mutas when you're economically behind is not really a matchup that you want to play in general. Jaedong might actually be able to make something work over here with his speedlings on the other side of the map. If he gets both queens relatively quickly, he's going to try to pick up queen number 3 as well, and he will succeed in doing so. He has one very happy Baneling connecting with a lot of the drones from Leenock as well, but of course one Baneling won't kill them. So when it's all said and done, when all the dust is settled, it's safe to say that Leenock is still in a good position. A lot of his drones are low on HP, but they'll regenerate, that's not a big deal. He still has more speedlings out on the map, he has a couple of Banelings, he has a 5 drone advantage, and his Spire was a little bit quicker than the Spire of Jaedong. Not by a whole lot, a couple of seconds, but overall this is starting to look okay. And Jaedong, despite being very well known for his ZvZ, is going to fight an uphill battle over here. Jaedong really needs to keep that hatchery alive as well if he wants to keep... Man, this is just a crazy dance of Zerglings and Banelings. A couple of Banelings from Jaedong getting so close to all these Zerglings from Leenock. Jaedong actually tried to go up to 3 bases, but Leenock had a Zergling preventing that from happening. 2 more Banelings going to try to wiggle in the middle line of Jaedong. Might be able to get like a drone or 2, but that's about it. But during all this, Leenock is going up to 3 bases. He has a better economy. He had more Zerglings out all along. Jaedong has caught up in the work account, but Leenock still sitting at 30 Zerglings. And above all, Leenock is going to have so much more larva to work with because of this base. And I'm really worried for Jaedong in this game. The loser of this series will be eliminated from the Intel Extreme Masters Day 1. Just the open bracket, not even the main tournament. As Leenock is going to try to make some magic happen with all his Zerglings. He will see the Mutas hatch. And he's like, oh, okay. Ooh, that's a good Baneling from Jaedong. That's going to perhaps allow Jaedong to go up to 3 bases a little quicker than he would have eventually been able to. But that won't change the fact that this 3rd hatchery from Leenock is done. It is up and running. It's not saturated yet, but it is up. So it will produce larva. And the Muta count should go in favor of Leenock, because he will be able to take that 5th and 6th extractor so much quicker. I'm actually, I would be blown away if Jaedong will somehow be able to turn this one around, because I know it looks like a relatively even game, but it's not an even game at all. If you look at the work account, like, yeah, 45, 45, 8 and 10, it's pretty even, but this hatchery that's up already for Leenock is such a big difference, and he's still preventing this 3rd hatchery from Jaedong to go down. Jaedong is in a little bit of trouble. Will Leenock get the drone? Yes, he does get the drone one more time. So that means again that this hatchery is going to be delayed for a solid 10-12 seconds. And of course another drone kill is nice. The only thing that Jaedong has going for himself now is that he has 16 Zerglings. Those are Zerglings that Leenock does not currently have. But Leenock does have defensive queens. He has energy to transfuse. He has a Spinecrawler as well. There are a couple of Mutalisks making their way towards the natural, but Leenock should be able to fight this. Leenock is up 20 supply. That is so much when you're doing the exact same thing. These Zerglings from Jaedong won't be able to break these queens, and not especially now with this Spinecrawler assisting over here as well. Mutalisks from Jaedong a little bit out of position, and JD might end up losing a single. See Leenock trying to mess a little bit with the pathing of his Mutalisk and try to pick off a Muta, but he won't succeed in doing so. But what he will succeed in is keep that 3rd base alive so easily. He didn't really lose anything. The only way that Jaedong can win this game is if Leenock somehow takes a very bad fight with his Mutalisk, a fight that Jaedong is able to win. I believe that Jaedong misclicked there a little bit on the debris, and Jaedong just knows, you know, he doesn't have to lose every single unit to realize how extremely far behind he truly is. It's just no 3rd base. You know, no 3rd base, no larva, not enough gas. It's almost impossible. You're fighting an uphill battle. I would have loved to see him try, because in general Jaedong is a guy that can somehow make miracles happen and turn games around when you really don't expect him to anymore. But I wouldn't really know what he was supposed to do, to be honest. He had less larva, he had less Mutalisk, he had less income. You know, how are you going to turn around the Muda versus Muda war? I guess the only thing you could somehow hope for is get 2 Spore Crawlers out and then try to get the transition into Infestors and land a Fungal. But, you know, a player like Leenock will pick up on the fact that you're not producing any Zerglings, that you won't be producing any Middleists. So, Jaedong right now only 1 map away from being eliminated of the Intel Extreme Masters at day 1. Not at the main event, but at the dual tournament or the open bracket stage of this tournament. He's not down and out yet. We all know that Jaedong can come back. But this was a great start for Leenock. Game number 2 is going to be played on merry-go-round, so that's kind of what I expected. I am not too shocked to see this happening. Somebody says Rotterdam doesn't know how to sit on a chair. I do know. I will switch chairs actually, because I know this chair can be a little squeaky and that's annoying. Especially because the microphone is close to it. Even if my address would be on the refrigerator, that's fine. I've been giving my address out in public many times. I even threw a party once for my stream subscribers, so my address is far from hidden, don't worry about it. What is also not hidden is the fact that, man, I'm worried for Jaedong. Jaedong is going to have to win 2 ZvZs in a row now against Leenock, and then he's also going to have to defeat either Bunny or Hawk. That series is currently being played on the main stream. I'll let the admin know that I'm ready. We saw Jaedong just play on merry-go-round against Henryless. He looked really solid. He took a macro-oriented approach. And just to go back to this game we just saw in Overgrowth, I said in the start of the game I'd be very shocked if either player commits to a lot of Zerglings or Banelings, because I feel Overgrowth is a map where you don't often see either Zerg cut a whole lot of corners. So most of the time people will be solid unless they want to feel extremely greedy. Jaedong still went for it. Leenock took absolutely 0 damage. Of course, Jaedong miscontrolled those Banelings. He blew up 2 or 3 Banelings, 1 at the spine, but then he blew up 2 or 3 at the hatchery, and that's just not what you want. If those Banelings would have connected with drones in the middle line, maybe we are looking at a different game. But for now, we are looking at Jaedong currently being down 0-1. I just have to switch the colors up real quick, and then we can go ahead and hop into game number 2. Now the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto open bracket, where EG's Jaedong is on the verge of being eliminated as he's our blue Zerg on the right top side of the map. He's gonna have to win 3 out of the next 4 maps of StarCraft 2 that he's currently playing. And above all, he has to win the next 2. That is the most important thing. Over here on the left top side of the map, we have the man who took a pretty comfortable 1-0 lead over Jaedong. It is Leenock. I would love to switch the names around actually. Let's see if I can do that. That is a little bit more comfortable for everybody. Uh-oh. Jaedong is going to switch things up. He looked so solid earlier when he went for just a good old hatch first into, you know, a defensive Baneling nest. And then we saw him followed up with 2 queens at the ramp, his spine-core and stuff. Merry-go-round is a map where, in general, it's not too hard to deal with Zerglings and Banelings, at least not unless it's in a very well hidden or you're cutting corners and stuff. This is good news though for the Dong. Oh my god, he's getting an extractor as well. Is this Temple Baneling? Alright, so Leenock is going hatch first. We're keeping a close eye on his main base. We see he's squeezing out at least 1 more drone. Now we hope for Leenock that he's getting his that he's going to get his spawning pool as soon as possible. Oh my, he's getting the extractor as well, which means that the spawning pool is even later for Leenock. So Leenock is going to scout this now, and he's like, oh boy, Zerglings making their way across the map. Well, I kind of hope it's not Temple Bane. It is Temple Bane. This is of course a super uneconomic opening for Jaedong. So he needs to pretty much kill every single drone there is in the main base of Leenock. Leenock cancelled his extractor upon realizing what is going on over here. We're currently looking at 10 Zerglings from Jaedong. He will most likely send them to the main base immediately, and Leenock is going to try to spread his workers as good as he possibly can. He's gonna have to run around for a while. This is borderline impossible to hold with this late spawning pool that he had, but I do believe that Leenock can make miracles happen. Jaedong is really going to have to babysit his Zerglings. Where are the Banelings, Jaedong? They're coming. He's morphing 2 Banelings right now. So far Leenock is doing a good job in like he's running around with his drones. He's still working with 15 drones. If Leenock survives this with, let's say, 7 to 8 drones, I believe that he's in an okay position, because then he still has his hatchery in the natural. But Banelings are coming, he's transferring the drones. Banelings will connect with 4 or 5 drones immediately. Leenock is right now only on 8 drones. He's getting, slowly but steady, he's getting a bunch of Zerglings out. Jaedong does not have any additional banelings. He does still have 14 Zerglings, so he's still ahead when it comes to Zerglings. And he's mining the same amount now. This seems actually like an okay fight over here for Leenock, as he's picking up quite a few Zerglings, but Jaedong is still outnumbering him. And above all, speed is on the way for JD as well, who doesn't have enough gas anymore for any additional banelings. There's one queen out now, and a queen makes a massive difference in these Zergling fights, especially if you position it properly. But so far, I think it was okay. It's really close. It's really hard to call. Tournament life is on the line for Jaedong. He won't actually get this queen. This queen is somehow going to survive this fight. And that changes everything. 8 drones against 9. Leenock, of course, on 2 hatcheries. There is going to be a speedling follow-up for Jaedong. Will Leenock be somehow able to protect his ramp? I'm not sure. He's getting his second queen out. Queens are fantastic in this phase in the game. Jaedong is getting his own queen as well, but he's still producing nothing but Zerglings. Leenock has, of course, his Overlord in the natural, so he should know whenever a Zergling is leaving, and he should have a very good idea of how many drones Jaedong has, because Leenock is a very experienced Zerg player, and I'm sure that this is not the first time that he's facing this strategy. Speed is about to finish up, so I guess what Leenock is going to try to do is put both queens. Oh my god, he's going to have 2 full HP queens. He's going to land 1 transfusion as well. With 3 queens and a spine crawler going down, there is a chance that Leenock might be able to hold this, but he needs to produce nothing but Zerglings now. He has a couple of Zerglings over here. These Zerglings are going to try to jump on this spine crawler immediately. You want to make sure that you keep them on hold position. Don't give too much surface area. Jaedong is getting 2 banelings as well. These banelings will get intercepted by Zergling. Oh, so close! That is a good connection for Jaedong. And Jaedong will be able to pick up this hatchery in the natural, so... what does that even mean? 10 workers against 9 right now. Jaedong is going to go back to droning. He realizes that just throwing Zerglings endlessly and trying to break these queens is probably not the best idea. He at least has reset the amount of bases that Leenock is working off. So Leenock is going to have a massive queen advantage, but Jaedong has the advantage of having speed, and above all should be able to go up to 2 bases now a little quicker than Leenock is. So I guess this went okay for Jaedong in the end. It was a really close call, but with this spine crawler not finishing up, there's just no way that Leenock was going to be able to save his head. Queens, with 4 queens now, there's a lot of transfuses. I'm not sure if this is well, it's hard to say how much transfuses is available. Quite a bit actually. 1 transfuse will land, a lot of transfuses going down. The spine crawler will finish up now as well. 1 queen will fall, but I think that's it. Oh, maybe 2, nope, just 1. This was a really good fight for Leenock though, because this will allow him to secure this hatchery, and otherwise that would have been so much harder, because Jaedong is the one with all those speedlings. One very happy little speedling is going to run into the main base, and this is a big scout for JD, because now Jaedong will see, alright Leenock, you still have not taken any of your extractors, and that's going to help Leenock out quite a bit. Well, I mean, it's going to help Jaedong out quite a bit that Leenock doesn't have gas yet. What Leenock does have is a lot of queens, so he should feel very safe. He should be able to be a tiny bit more greedy than Jaedong is. He's moving his spine crawler to the low ground as well. This hatch is a little later, but it's like miraculously enough, this is sort of an even game. Jaedong has lost more units, but in a weird way he's been mining a little bit more, despite Leenock being the player that went hatch first. It's really astonishing that Leenock did not die with this hatch first into 16 extractor and then either a 15 or a 16 pool behind it. His spawning pool was very late, and multiple Zergs have died against an opening like this in the past. I am personally not the biggest fan of 10 pool Bane, but on a map like Merry-Go-Round, if you have a very strong feeling that your opponent goes hatch first and even squeezes out another drone, let's not forget that is exactly what Jaedong did in the last game. Oh, excuse me, Leenock. This is not Jaedong just like playing a guessing game, rolling the dice. I mean, in the end, he's still gambling, because if it was a pool first, then he's in a little bit of trouble. But Leenock did do this before, and I can only assume that he has done this in the past. So we can sort of, after this crazy early game where Jaedong's tournament life was on the line, and if things would have gone bad, it perhaps could have been a very long weekend for Jaedong in Toronto. He's still in this one. A roach one is going down now in the main base of Jaedong. He's also getting his evolution chamber, and he starts up his lair. This is like the most explosive early game that I've seen, while being still relatively even behind it. Like, Jaedong is sitting on a comfortable 8-9 drone lead, but I think the queens will help out quite a bit, and Leenock will feel so safe that he can produce nothing but drones. Ooh. Cancel an evolution chamber there. Maybe he wasn't feeling his wall. Cancel his evo chamber and morphs it into a roach horn. Okay, well, Jaedong's Overlord can actually get a sneak peek at this whenever he wants. Leenock also starts his +1 missile attacks just like JD. Leenock is up 2 workers now, but Jaedong is going up to 3 bases, a tiny bit quicker. So where is either player going to take this? I think that Jaedong just wants to get speed out, and then as soon as he has, his lay attack finished up and he has roach speed, he will probably start being aggressive and produce nothing but roaches for the longest amount of time and try to deny this third base of Leenock. And there is a very good chance that he will be able to do so, as he's currently already up 7 roaches. Then again, is 7 roaches enough to run across the map and take a fight on your opponent's side of the map when the reinforcements are going to be so much quicker for him? And of course there will be queens as well. Let's not forget about these queens that Leenock has. Actually he only has 3, so I thought he had 4. He did lose 1. Oh, it's a really close game. Leenock is morphing an Overlord into an Overseer. He's doing that over here on the right side of the map. That should give him a really good idea that he should produce absolutely nothing but roaches from this point on. Jaedong just stocked a couple of drones. I'm a little bit shocked to see that. So Jaedong feels that he has the right amount of roaches to counterattack and make something happen on this side of the map. Do we still have a spine crawler? Yes, we have that spine over here. We have that queen full on energy as well. Leenock is down a few roaches, but I think with the quicker reinforcements, with the spine, with the queen, he should be able to hang on to this third base, and that is so important. Army supply 44 against 45, dead even. Jaedong is +1, it's ready, and +1 missile attacks for Leenock is not ready yet. Transfuse will land on the spine, but won't save the spine, but it will save that 1 roach. This is still a very nice window where Jaedong is going to have an upgrade advantage. His roach is also slightly better concave than the roaches of Leenock, so despite not killing this third base, I still felt this went okay-ish for Jaedong, who of course squeezed out quite a few drones during all this, and he has now saturated this third base properly. I think it is very scary for Leenock to do that now. Like, what is the right moment to start producing drones? Well, he thinks apparently it's now. If you talk about a razor-thin window, Jaedong definitely hit a razor-thin window by attacking like 15 seconds before +1 of Leenock was ready there. And he also had slightly better positioning on his roaches and slightly better concave. So that was about as good as it was going to get for a very even phase in this game. Let's just keep it like that. Of course, big shout out to everybody who's watching here in B-Stream as well. I get a little distracted sometimes when I try to read what you guys say, but it's funny. Some of you guys are very nice, some of you guys are very funny. You make me giggle. +2 missile attacks is halfway done for JD. Same can be said for Leenock. This is still a dead even ZvZ, where Jaedong is definitely slightly ahead, but I think you guys don't really need me for the fact that to know that it's very hard to attack in Zerg vs Zerg, let's be honest. Especially if your opponent puts himself in a good defensive position, it can be extremely difficult to fight the right moment to hit. That's why often you see guys like on this level split up their roaches, get a small roach hit squad. This is the first big difference we see between the strategies that both of them are heading towards to. Jaedong already starts up 9-10 Hydralisk now, also gets grooved spines. Leenock on the other end is getting his Baneling Nest. Now speed Banes are very good against a Hydralisk player. But it all comes down to engagement, it all comes down to time. As soon as the Baneling Nest finishes up, then I was about to say that doesn't Leenock have a Baneling Nest, but no he doesn't. You still need to research Baneling speed as well, because slow Banes won't get the connections that you're looking for. Of course, if you are the Bane in this scenario, what you want is to get enough Banelings out to somehow connect, maybe swing in from behind or from the side and connect with these Hydralisks. If you're able to do that, then you're going to dig life, and then your roaches should be better than the roaches of your opponent, because he had a lot of supply that was caught up in Hydralisk. If Banelings can take care of that, well, yippee-yi-yo, life is good. Jaedong used Contaminate a couple of times to delay this +2 missile attacks from Leenock, but I don't think it's going to make the difference. I do think that Jaedong is going to be able to fight over here before Baneling speed is done. We can see there are 8 Banelings on the way. We have 6 Banelings already. +2 missile attacks is still not ready. It will be ready in 5 seconds and it should finish up. I still kind of like Jaedong's chances over here. The Banelings not getting close to the Hydralisk yet. As long as Jaedong can babysit his Hydralisk, he should be in a phenomenal position. He's doing a really good job in sniping a couple of these Banes. The Banes still not getting the connections that they're looking for. Look at these roaches from Leenock trying to just like get as close to the front as possible, trying to get close to these hydras, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The evolution chamber has been sniped as well, and just like that, Leenock is going to tap out, and Jaedong will win game number 2, which was really close early on. Jaedong played with fire. You know, they often say don't funk with my heart. Well, Jaedong was definitely funking with my heart there a little bit, because going for 10 pool Bane with tournament live on the line is super risky, and it was, I don't know, it's really hard to say. He did a lot of economic damage. He did enough to justify his opening, especially with the speedling follow-up, when he was able to cancel that hatchery or kill that hatch, and he was able to go up to 2 bases a little bit before his opponent. It was still dead even, I think, after, maybe not dead even, it was a small advantage for Jaedong, but it was still hard to say that, like, alright, Jaedong is going to win this for sure. But the very first skirmish that they had, it is, I don't know, it would be sick to say that that was a timing, because he hit literally like 10-15 seconds right before Leenock his +1 was ready, but for some reason Jaedong just made the right amount of units to poke in, do some damage, get the spine, get a couple of roaches, have a slightly better concave, then he backed off, went for Hydralisk, and again he hit right before Baneling speed is ready and right before Leenock is able to max out, because of course Jaedong was maxed out the last fight and Leenock wasn't. I'm gonna let the guys know that I'm ready. Of course, if you just joined us, you are watching the Intox Remasters Toronto Open Bracket. This is Duel Tournament number 1. I want to give you guys an update as well, just for some of you only watching this stream, which I definitely don't recommend, because watching the main stream is way more awesome, because then you have the full-on production, you have player shots, you have crowd shots. Now you just see a sad Rotterdam sitting in his living room. We're still happy that he's able to cast a couple of these games, don't get me wrong. But game number 3 between Jaedong and Leenock is going to be played on King Sejong Station. I am ready. It seems like our players are ready. And I'm just going to go ahead and hop into the game. There we go. I'm going to swap this. I believe now we are good to go. No, wait, I messed up the college. Yeah. I am pretty terrible at this. Yeah. No. This is not working out. Yeah. Now we're good. Over here in the right bottom side of King Sejong Station, this is Duel Tournament lower bracket round 3. Jaedong versus Leenock. The score is 1-1. This is Jaedong. He went for a 10 pool on merry-go-round. He's going for a 9 pool on King Sejong Station. While over here in the left top side of the map, we have the Zerg player who is representing the Yowie Flash Walls. It is Leenock. Now, will Leenock go hatch first again? And if he does, what kind of a hatch first is this going to be? There's no extractor yet, by the way, for Jaedong. So this time it's just a standard 9 pool opening, but he will only open up with slow Zerglings. He's getting extracted now, but I think that's just to get out another drone. I think he will cancel it. Right? Maybe not. Maybe let's just finish up. Now I'm a little bit surprised, because I feel that this extractor is slightly later than we normally see it. But okay. So Jaedong is okay. It's hatch first on the other side of the map. Like, there are so many thoughts running through my mind. I normally never cast ZvZ by myself, which is a good thing, because I completely lose track of what I want to talk about, especially because early game ZvZ, there's so many small things which are really important. Leenock squeezed out another drone. He's going up to 16. Again, he's getting extracted before the spawning pool. So I think it's safe to say that this hatchery is dead if Jaedong wants it dead immediately. If Jaedong, on the other hand, he's going 10 pool Bane again, where it was 9 pool Bane in this case. Man, this is so economic. Jaedong needs to do so much damage with this again. But I guess he will. This is a mirror image of what you just saw on merry-go-round. I think the rush distance by ground is slightly larger here than it was in the last game. Oh well. It's the same scenario, guys. Like last time Leenock survived with 8 drones. His hatch was alive at first, but then it died against the speedling follow-up. We'll see how well he's able to micro stack his drones this time. Again, tournament life is on the line for both these guys. The loser is eliminated. Can go sightseeing, check out the CN Tower in Toronto, eat poutine, maybe some maple syrup. Basically all the good things that Canada has to offer. The winner will move on to play against either Hawk or Bunny. There are 2 Banelings morphing. There are actually 3 Banelings. That's 1 more Baneling than Jaedong morphed last time, which I'm kind of digging, because I felt he could have done more. He's doing quite a bit of damage already with his Zerglings. I'm a little bit worried for Leenock. He does have 10 Zerglings on the way, but here come those Banelings. This is the most difficult phase of the defense. Jaedong, where are you gonna use your banelings at? One baneling is getting very... Oh, actually that first baneling doesn't connect with a whole lot. These banelings could blow up 3 drones, and actually Jaedong is contemplating with killing 3 drones. But now I'm not sure if he's going to win the Zergling war anymore. It's 9 workers on either side. The queen is out, which should keep the majority of these drones safe. And it's... Okay, so, oh my god, Leenock has an... This is really good for Leenock. Leenock has 2 queens out instead of just 1. And he also has 1 drone more than he has last time. He has more Zerglings currently. Actually, he has more Zerglings than he had on Merry-Go-Round. He has less Zerglings than Jaedong. I'm really worried for the Dong. The 10 pool / 9 pool Bane worked on Merry-Go-Round. This time I'm really not sure. I think this time Leenock should be able to save his hatchery. He's getting his 2 queens on hold position on the ramp already. That's exactly what you want to do. These slow Zerglings are kind of caught out of position. They're gonna have to go back home. But oh, Jaedong, what do you do? Jaedong is currently mining of 12 drones. He has a small economic lead, but if... Okay, he's gonna go all out. Jaedong will literally put his tournament life on the line. All eggs in one basket. And I don't think it's going to work. Leenock has 3 queens over here. I have no idea how he got 2 queens out at the same time and still saved so many of his drones and also got enough Zerglings out, but he did it. I think Jaedong is gonna have to... Yeah, okay. He pulled the drones again. I think this is a very smart decision. I was really worried. Because the moment he went back to mining gas, I was like, alright, Jaedong wants to produce nothing but Zerglings and Banelings and go super YOLO swag all in, but it wouldn't have worked. Now, if you're a Jaedong fan, you should still be worried. Because this hatch is so much later than this hatch that's already up. Leenock goes back to droning now. The work account, at this moment it's dead even, but if we take a look at it at 8 minutes and 50 seconds, so 90 seconds from now on, Leenock is going to enjoy a very, very comfortable work elite. Jaedong has even cancelled his speed upgrade. I think, yeah, he had speed on the way. So perhaps a little bit of indecisiveness, but I still think it was good for Jaedong to be indecisive over here, because if he would have gone nuts on the Zerglings, and if he would have gone nuts and like just trying to break Leenock over here, I don't think it would have worked. I think it would have been GG end of the weekend. This is still going to get extremely difficult. I guess he's going to try to follow this up with Evolution Chambers and the Roach Warren at front. I have no idea why Leenock is going to take this. Leenock can just take this. A +1 Roach timing is often like the most solid thing, and I hate to use the word timing over here because obviously after this crazy opening phase it's not really a timing. But these guys, they've been in this scenario before, and Leenock knows the difference between keeping this hatchery alive or losing the hatch. And I think if you keep it alive, you just macro up on 2 bases, you get your Roach Warren out, you get your Evolution Chamber out, you squeeze out enough roaches, but as soon as speed is ready, your layer attack is ready, and then you just go for it. That is the approach I would take, but Leenock can do whatever he wants. He's Leenock. I don't think Leenock ever needs my approval in life for anything. I don't think there are a whole lot of things in life I'm better at than Leenock is. Alright, so Jaedong starts his layer before Leenock because he cancels Zergling speed once again. No upgrades on either side yet. Leenock actually just starts his layer a few seconds behind the one of Jaedong, but of course he's doing this over better economy. He's up 4 workers now. He has all these queens out that are so useful defensively. It's going to be extremely, I guess for Jaedong the best thing to do is just take a very slow and steady wins the race approach. You're going to sit back, you're going to let Leenock bring the aggression to you. Because if you're down economically early on, it's really hard to follow it up with some sort of an attack that's going to catch your opponent off guard in this matchup where both players have overlords in the middle of the map. They have Zergling scouting, etc., etc. +1 missile attack is going to be quite a bit quicker for Leenock. And upgrades are fantastic, but in the end of the day, it won't just straight up win you the game. So I think what I was talking about roughly a minute or so, there's a good chance that is going to happen indeed. As soon as Leenock gets his +1, gets his roaches out, he's going to try to make it happen. Oh, smart play by Jaedong. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but the circling of Leenock scouted the roach one, scouted the evolution chamber, but man, Leenock is good. He follows it up with another scout immediately, and he will see that this roach one was cancelled, so you can probably smell the spire from here. He doesn't even really have to see it. So with Jaedong's life on the line, he's going to try to get a quick transition into Mutalisk out of this. And sometimes Mutalisk clear up. I think Jaedong really needs a lot of spines if he wants to hang in there. With these roaches already halfway done, speed halfway done, spire is 50 seconds away from completion. I don't think that this hatch is ever going to live if Leenock really wants to do something about it. And with 18 roaches soon, actually he has 12, a couple of them just hatched. 12 roaches is not a super scary. Oh, okay. Man, this is like a silly ZvZ series. It's just like there's small stuff happening all over the place. Both players trying to freak each other out. And I'm not sure if that's working, but they're definitely freaking me out. But Leenock with a Nidus network as a follow-up of this. Jaedong is indeed getting the spines that I just mentioned. He has a lot of gas in the bank. The Dong might be able to get his Mulas out in time. If he has 10 Mutalisks, 3 spines and 2 queens, he should be able to deal with 12 roaches. I think this hatchery was much more of a bait and something that Jaedong genuinely believed that he could keep it alive. Nidus is going down as well, so close actually during all this. Jaedong completely unaware of this Nidus network. At the same time, Jaedong is having a small successful counterattack with his a couple of Zerglings. He doesn't really have a whole lot of Zerglings. He has 29, that's not too bad actually. So here come the queens. We're currently looking at 5 queens. I think it would be very smart for Leenock to get a couple of drones through this Nidus network as well. Just like put 1 or 2 drones through the Nidus and try to get like a Spore Crawler out or 2 over here. 20 Banelings are on the way. Where are they morphing for Jaedong? Oh my god, all of the Banelings are morphing in the main base. There's no Baneling speed. If these Banes can somehow connect... okay, he's actually, yeah, he's morphing the Spores over here. I love it. ZvZ is fun. So Leenock is going to try to win this game with Roach, Queen, Nidus. Does he have any anti-air at home? He has a single Spore Crawler, which, you know, ironically enough, is almost enough to deal with 9 or 10 Mutalisks. I guess Jaedong could kill the Spore, but not before losing 3 or 4 Mutas, and he doesn't think it's worth it. For some reason, Jaedong actually managed to get 2 Banelings into this. Jaedong has killed 11 drones already throughout this game. A couple of Banes are very low on HP. Here come the Roaches of Leenock. These spines from Jaedong are holding strong. Jaedong needs to hang in there a little bit longer. He's getting more and more and more Banelings. 29 Banelings. Could put... Is Leenock gonna abandon? Wow. I think Jaedong has successfully defended this. That is actually a miracle on its own. Jaedong was in a very dicey position, but has somehow bought enough time for himself to live to fight another day. But it doesn't mean that he's out of the woods just yet. Because of course, you know, Leenock is still sitting on 3 hatcheries, Jaedong is not. Is there a Spore Crawler over here? There is a single Spore. A single Spore is enough to push these Mutalisks away. Good pick up there by these queens as well. Getting 1 more Muta. Oh, the winner of this series will move on to play against either Bunny or Hawk. Roaches are here again, popped out of the Nidus, trying to force a lot of these Banelings to detonate. Good split on these Roaches. I thought I would never say that, but once in a blue moon you do say good splits on these Roaches. Of course the Mutalisks are here as well. Without the queens it's really hard for these Roaches to get too much done. There are infestors on the way during all this. I'm still very worried for Jaedong. I think that Leenock has taken a very beautiful and casual, passive approach to all this, very conservative. He didn't rush into things. Careful with your Mutalisks, Jaedong. Loses 2 Mutalisks there, doesn't have to lose them at all. And here are the queens again. Here come the Banelings as well. There are infestors. I think Leenock is hiding the infestors. He has infestors, right? He has Plunging Lens. He has 3 infestors. They're over here. Okay, well, Jaedong is going to try to go for a full-on counterattack, but I don't know, guys. I don't actually think that this is going to work. Maybe if these Zerglings can somehow stand on top of these infestors, he might be able to get something done, but it's been a really action-packed ZvZ where Jaedong is just trying to find a way back into this game after his earlier pool opening with those Banelings just kind of failed. He didn't kill a crazy amount of workers and he didn't get the hatchery, so in a weird way we can call it a failure then. These Zerglings will not be able to take out these queens. There's too much strength, there's too much HP in this little attack, and this is like the longest Nidus network that we've ever seen, but it's still on army supply. It's 79 against 61, but the biggest problem is that that 79 army supply is actually a lot stronger than the 61 as well of Jaedong. It's not like he's sitting on a well-upgraded army, that he's sitting on a strong army, because he's not. The Muta count is currently at 14, but there are those infestors. Jaedong knows that there are infestors. His 3rd hatchery gets cancelled once more. This has been such a hectic, passive game. Pongo will land on this Baneling run by Jaedong. Tried to get a lot of Banelings into this middle line. That's not going to work. Leenock is taking the best approach to this. He's like, I'm on 3 bases, you are not. I have all the tools in the right place to deal with your Mutalisk. Mutalisk is pretty much the only strong unit that you currently have. I have Roaches, I have Hydralisk, I have Infestors, all the good things in the ZvZ life. And I'm afraid that this is going to be another early exit for EG Jaedong. It's just over the last few months, this hasn't had the tournament runs that he's looking for. Roach is trying to break through over here in the natural of Jaedong, and Jaedong tried to counterattack with his Zerglings, but he just doesn't have enough money. He can't keep up with this insane economy of Leenock. 3 bases, 66 drones. Now Jaedong is going to try to take this base on the right side of this map, but I'm afraid that this one is all over but the crying, as Mr. Bitter would say, or as they like to say in the south in general. A couple of Zerglings trying to jump on this Nidus network, but Leenock has done a phenomenal job in keeping this Nidus worm alive. Always hopping in and out with the queens whenever, whenever it's the appropriate time to either retreat or go back. And this 1-4 has been very annoying. Makes it so much harder for these mutalists to just jump on top of it. Now again, this time actually he needs a few more anti-air units over here. Leenock is, I think, underestimating the Murdoch flock. He needs to get his Hydrolist for maybe a couple of infestors here. Beautiful transfuse. This queen is never ending well, forever young, but eventually the queen will fall. But even if all of these queens will fall, that won't change that these roaches are going to town on all of these drones. This mineral line is exposed, it's vulnerable, it's weak. Leenock is maxed out and Jaedong is hovering around 74 supply now. And this wasn't even Leenock's entire army. Leenock still has roaches and hydras. Leenock still has infestors on the north side of the map. And Jaedong knows it.